Brooke Pierce, and welcome to Flips Hair Magazine. For this special segment of Flips Hair Magazine, we will be interviewing the Memphis chapter of Black Lives Matter. Say hello to Renee Taylor. Say hello to Miss Erica Perry. Thank y'all for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. So we're going to talk about Black Lives Matter in two parts. First, I want to talk about on a national level, and then talk about the Memphis chapter itself. Who is Black Lives Matter? Meaning, who does the movement consist of, and what is the ultimate goal of the movement?
So there's a difference between the network and then the movement. Okay. So this chapter, the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter, right, is a part of the network, which means that we committed to following the principles, and we're connected with other chapters throughout the world. Like there are chapters like in Europe, chapters in Canada, so right, it's a global network. And then you have the movement for Black Lives, which is kind of broader, right? Anybody can say, I'm for Black Lives, I'm a part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And that might include like D-Ray, Netta, Colin Kaepernick, any other like right person or organization is kind of like doing Black Lives Matter work. But as far as the chapter and the network is concerned, I think there are like 40 chapters, right, who work together as a chapter, as a part of a network, right, to deal with systematic racism, and then like cultural racism, the way that racism shows up in policies and in cultures, and the way in which like racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia affect and impact our lives as Black people.
So in comparison to other civil rights groups, how is Black Lives Matter more effective?
Black Lives Matter, we tend to want to address the whole Black person. So for the local chapter here, the official Black Lives Matter chapter, we have different committees. We have youth advocacy, we have environmental justice, economic justice. We have like 13 different committees that are addressing issues of Black person, to complete Black person, not just part of the Black person.
Mm-hmm. It makes us, and so the comparison, I think we want to move away from comparing us to like different civil rights organizations or human rights organizations, but I do want to think about or offer up the idea that with Black Lives Matter, what our attempt is to, kind of going off of what Renee was saying, look at the way the system, right, racism affects the whole Black person, the way sexism, homophobia affects the whole Black person. And that's kind of what I think makes us different, is one in like centering Black women, centering trans folks, centering LGBTQ individuals, folks that have been left out, and kind of other civil rights movements. And so that's kind of what I think makes us a little different in the work that we're doing.
With that being said, like, it's great that you want to include everybody, so everybody feels like they're a part of the movement and everything, but what makes you different from All Lives Matter, if that's the case?
So the difference between like All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter, and so one, who is All Lives Matter? When do they meet, right? When is their protest? What policies are they trying to enact, right? How are they trying to make the world a better place? Because we don't know what they're doing. I think what makes us different is also the specific focus on Black lives, right? The way in which policy systems, like certain aspects of culture, right, oppress, harm, and violently attack Black lives, right? That's what makes us different, is the focus on Black people and all Black people. They're being very significant and important to kind of lift up.
Also, the All Lives Matter, I think it came around to negate the fact that Black lives really do matter. And it's like, all lives matter, but at this time, we're focused on Black Lives Matter because all lives are not being threatened at the moment, because we have white privilege, we have white supremacy, and we just want to put an emphasis on Black lives. All Black lives matter.
But there's a negative connotation that comes with Black Lives Matter in the media. Yeah, I have a lot of negative imagery out there, mainly rioting and people being angry. So how do you all plan to counter that negative imagery?
One, I think we want to acknowledge the fact that, this is very interesting, acknowledge the fact that, so like, we've studied prior movements, and what happens is when people decide, hey, we're being treated wrong, we need to address this, the media or the people in control come back and try to negate that work, right, by saying that they're rioters or discrediting our work, and that's what's being done in the media. And in our attempts to try to paint a picture or control our narrative, let people know what we're really about. One, that looks like really truly organizing in our community so that people don't have to go off of what the media is saying, right? They know Erica, they know Renee, right? They know people in our chapters, so they know like we're not about those things that the media is saying. And they can put a name to the work and put a face to the name and the work, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to do to deal with this discrediting that's going on with this movement and what went on with the civil rights movement, what went on with the Black Power movement, right? And so like this discrediting that's going on is not new, right?
Right. Every time I look up Black Lives Matter via social media or whatever, I see the process, which is fine. Processing is a major part of making change. But what I want to see is Black Lives Matter doing stuff outside of protesting. I haven't seen that. So that's what I want to know. When is that going to happen?
Well, we had, during the summer, we had a free lunch program that ran the whole summer long. That were at different parks located around Memphis. Also, we had a vegan soul food fest, which was great. A lot of people came out, showed up. We're doing different things to address the whole Black person. We want our work to speak for our chapter. So we have different programming we're working on right now that we're going to implement by the end of the year or the beginning of next year.
Like letting our work speak for itself. What's like protesting is sexy, right? So the media is going to gravitate to that, right? So you got to dig a little deeper if you want to find out our policy initiatives and the programs that we think are going to help to transform the community, right? I mean, that's also on our Facebook page, but that's not what the media is talking about a lot because it's not as sexy, it's not as appealing. So we want people to dig a little deeper, and also we want to put it on us as the chapter in Memphis to do more door-to-doors, right? To do more work hands-on where people can feel Black Lives Matter in a way that is transformative.
As far as education and policies go, what are y'all doing to try to better those policies?
What we tend to do is we don't try to go out and reinvent the wheel. We already know we have to be spokes on the wheel. So what we do is the work that's already being done, we collaborate with those people that's already doing it.
We want to talk to community members, right, and strategize around like policy initiatives. So like what is education looking like in our neighborhood and how can we fix it? What is being said, right, about what our community needs and what does our community really need, right? We're thinking about short-term goals and long-term goals. And so based on that, policy might look different. I know one of the main policy initiatives that the Education Policy Committee is looking at right now is comprehensive sex ed, right? And so we're looking to work with Sister Reach on that initiative. Okay. We want to acknowledge, right, that when someone that is Black, right, commits a crime towards another Black person, we can like think like why crime in our communities might seem like it's so prevalent. Right, we want to think about what poverty does. Like we want to think about, right, like trauma. We want to think about education and equality and how that shows up. And so we also want to, right, acknowledge the ways in which
the root causes.
The root causes, and then also think about the work we're trying to do around restorative justice and healing justice, and acknowledging ways in which crimes are committed against people by people that look like them, right? And the work we're trying to do around that and around addressing the systematic issues that make crime in our communities something that happens too often. And then also I want us to, kind of going off of what Renee was saying, is to, we want people to know, right, that Black Lives Matter, the official Black Lives Matter Memphis chapter, is trying to run itself like in the style of Ella Baker, like in a very democratic way, right? So what we've done since December, we've grown a lot, right? Because we wanted to for the body, right, of the members to put together a team to coordinate, right, a team to steer the organization, for the body, right, the chapter to work with the community to decide what are the community's needs, what policy initiatives do we want to advocate for it, and what programs do the community need. And so that's something we've been working on.
They feel like Black Lives Matter's agenda is for homosexual people. Response.
Okay. We don't have a gay agenda.
Okay.
Just only affirming, we're actually affirming Black women, Black trans people, Black LGBT people, because they are normally marginalized to the side. And you can't pick and choose which day you're gonna be Black. So, of all things, I'm Black first. And I might be LGBT later on, but I still have a common interest with being Black, and I can't be selective about my liberation. I mean, sometimes I go into spaces and I have to validate who I am in pro-Black spaces, but I stand up for people who can't stand up for me. And it kind of, I have to internalize that, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm here because I want all of us to be free. None of us, we can't, all of us need to be free at the same time. We don't need to be selective about who's free when.
Like the thing is, like, people expect people who are LGBTQ to like leave that to the side when they come to organize for Black liberation, and that's not how this works, right? We want to think about how our Black trans sisters, right, how they are oppressed and hurt because they're Black and trans, right? And they shouldn't have to drop those labels or be anything but who they are when they come into Black spaces, right? And so we have to some cultural shifting to do within the Black community as it pertains to like LGBTQ folks and how like other Black people interact with them or what they think about them. And so it's sad that people are uncomfortable when we discuss the ways in which we're gonna like specifically fight for LGBTQ Black people, right? And so that means we have some work to do, some principled struggle, and some principled growing to do with other Black people who are uncomfortable with that, right? And we're willing to grow with them and be patient with them. But we don't, like, Black Lives Matter is different in the fact that you don't have to drop who you are, right? The way in which you exist to organize for Black liberation with Black Lives Matter. And that's something that people have had to do, and that's just not okay.
How does Black Lives Matter plan to raise the money to do all of this?
Right, so one, we want to think about, right, resources. So when we think about jobs and think about poverty, we think about a reallocation of resources, right? And so that's kind of what Dr. King was lifting up, right? A reallocation of resources before he was killed. And so that's what we're thinking about. And so I think you're talking about funding for us to organize and do this work. Right? So we're looking, right, for funding, and we're also committed to doing this work even if even if we don't have the money, like Renee was saying. Internally, we asking for like, hey, can we get $5 towards this, $10 for that, until we find like, grants to help us do this work. And there are grants out there. Other chapters have found grants that help them in doing their work.
I would like to say that we really would like people to come out and first attend the meetings before they make a generalized condemnation of Black Lives Matter. I want you to come out and understand what we're trying to do for Black people. I want you to come to the meeting and just give us a chance to explain what we're trying to do for the community. And not just, well, I got a bone to pick with you, Black Lives Matter. But I want you to come out and, at least let us explain ourselves and let you see if we got these 13 principles that guide us to do our work. We're about Black liberation. All Black lives matter.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for the most part. Anything else you want to say?
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for
No
having me.
problem.
Thanks
I'm glad we had this talk.
Thank you for being interested in talking about it.
Yes, because a lot of people have questions, and I want to be one of those people that kind of help clear it up, and this was good. So after maybe another year goes by, we can sit down again
Right.
and then have some follow-up.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. picture.
Okay, cool.
And then we're gonna get out of here.
Oh.
Thank you. I'm glad y'all